Hey guys, what's up? It's Imurgency and welcome back to our channel. So in recent videos we've been talking a lot about like different college shows and how they've been able to really try and grapple with realism versus whatever they're trying to do. But this video is going to be a little bit different because the show we're talking about today has to do with high school. And this show is called Ginny Georgia. This show is really hot on Netflix right now and you guys were telling me to watch it, so I did, and here are my opinions on it. Before I start that, I'm just gonna say one thing and make this very clear. These are my opinions. I don't care if it's a show. I don't care if it's fake, fictional, whatever. I'm gonna talk my good shit. So, if you're done with that, keep watching. And if not, that's cool too, you can still keep watching, but like, I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say. Also, quick plug, if you're new to the channel, then hit that subscribe button and also turn on the bell notifications so that you never miss a single upload. I go live on Twitch every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, so if you wanna see live confessions before they're uploaded on this channel, or just wanna hang out with me while I play a bunch of different games, then you should go follow me over there and also join the community Discord because we're a great community over there. So Ginny Georgia. I just finished the show literally last night and I took the entire night, my entire sleep, just really processing my thoughts and getting them all in order. How do I feel about this? What do I like? What do I not like? What just kind of didn't make any sense? And I think I finally compiled that all together and I'm ready to give that to you. So this should make sense, but there's also a chance that it might not, so let's just pretend that it does. So to start off, I'm going to give you guys a brief background, spoiler free as much as possible, of what Ginny Georgia really is about. I can't really promise that the rest of the video will be spoiler free, so I'll try my best, but also you should go watch the show. If you're not familiar, Ginny Georgia is about this single mother and her kids who basically have this mysterious past. Like, the mom is this real nice Southern belle who is just so darling and so charming, but also on the side can like kill people. And that's Georgia. And then there are her two kids. And both of her kids are born to two different fathers. The first one is Ginny. She is a biracial girl in high school who the story spends a lot of time with. And then there's also Austin, who's just like this little elementary school kid who, I honestly don't know how I feel about Austin. Like, Austin's like wholesome or whatever, but he also like has like violent tendencies. Like, I feel like if the show gets to season 2, it might be cool to like see Austin like go off the edge, like a baby serial killer or something. But basically they move into this new town called Wellsbury, and it's very apparent that they are fleeing their life back in Texas because some bad stuff happened there. They make it pretty vague, but also like not big at all, because there's a bunch of flashbacks that happen throughout the show that kind of like tell you what's going on. And it's really weird because I'm used to like shows where like you know what's going on before the characters know what's going on, but they tell you so much and like it's like easy to put the pieces together, so like you know what they're trying to tell you maybe like halfway throughout the show, and then you're just sitting there like so when are you gonna put the pieces together? Like when are you gonna see what I'm seeing, you know what I'm saying? I guess like the general premise would be like these three trying to fit into this real suburban white Massachusetts life after moving around so much, fleeing from different places. And I guess like the first thing I really want to touch on is sort of going back to what my past videos were about when it comes to school. And specifically in those shows it was college, in this show it is high school. Netflix has a particular way of portraying high schoolers. Actually, I think all of TV has a particular way of showing high schoolers. Just for some reason in their head, high schoolers are just constantly cursing all the time in ways that don't fit, super cringy. Well, I mean, maybe that one's a little accurate. Constantly being sexualized, their entire lives revolving around their relationships. I mean, like, okay, some of these things are true and some of these things happen, but that's not like all of what school is. That's just like the theme that a lot of these shows have. But like they just only have these really edgy characters that are like, no one understands me. I just need a really toxic partner that can really bring out some character development. Who is it gonna be? Like, honestly, chill. And this show gets into some really dark stuff. Just think of anything that's really dark that would happen around these years, and it's pretty much in this show. You can guarantee that. And it just really feels like the show is trying to be as edgy as possible while also keeping like the same like Modern Family external appearance in terms of just like having everything be like happy-go-lucky, and then all of a sudden it's just like dark, like someone's driving off a cliff on a motorcycle. Like, there's just no real in between here. But going back to like the high school representation, a lot of the characters are just so, like, if I were to compare these high school characters to a different show, I I feel like the closest parallel would probably be with Euphoria. But if the Euphoria cast looked like they were all 12 years old. And that's another thing. I'm sorry I'm getting up on all these tangents. Who was the casting director? Who decided to cast this cast? And how did they do what they did? Like, all of these characters, look at the characters. Look at the material. Look at the material. Like, look at all these characters. Look at the cast. They all look like they're 16 max. Which was good because usually when like Netflix does like high school shows, they're usually like people that are like pushing their 30s, like Riverdale. But this show, the high schoolers actually looked somewhat their age. So I thought, oh, maybe they actually hired a cast that was around this age. But then that all changed in like the first episode, I think, when two characters start hooking up and I'm like, okay, this better not be high schoolers. So, you know, little nosy me, I go typing on the internet trying to see how old the main character is, thinking maybe like, okay, maybe she's like 18 or like 19, you know, like close enough. Tell me why she's older than me. Tell me why all of the cast, with the exception of Austin, the baby, is all older than me. Like that was like the biggest like,
what?
For me, because I just don't understand. Actually, let's take a look, a gander at the cast ages, because it baffles me. Main character, Antonia Gentry, 23 years old. 23. Felix Mallard, 22. Sarah Weissglass, 22. I'm 21 for reference. Let's get into the next thing, which is the utter cringe in this show. Like, I know it's meant to be placed in high school, and high school is just very cringy overall. There's not been a show in a while that's made me physically cringe while watching it. And a lot of it is because they're kind of accurate with some things, so it kind of feels like I'm revisiting my past and I want to relive my past. Because the main group of characters created a group out of the first letters of all their names. And it spells Mang. Manga. And there's like people in the show that call this out, like, what is that? Like, why would you call yourself that? And I just really don't appreciate that, because like I fully, back in like the early days of high school, had a friend group and we had our own name for our group, and that was especially cringy, and I was trying to forget that, and I kind of just resurfaced those memories I didn't want to have. So that kind of contributes to like the cringe factor. But then there's more, right? Because I made a couple TikToks on this, really calling this out, but like some of the characters' interactions with each other and some of the things that really happen in this show, the amount of times in the show that Ginny hits the little Debbie Ryan, even though her hair is already tucked back behind her ear, just sends me spiraling.
Not the slow walk. Come on, white boy.
And then we're not even gonna get to arguably one of the most cringy things, which was the tap dance scene. This was one, if you're not familiar, one of the characters gives a tap dance show performance in front of the entire school, and it goes down a hallway of him just tap dancing in celebration of Ginny's birthday. I don't know what they were trying to go for. Like, I get it was supposed to be like hype, and everyone's like, wow, wow. If that was in a real high school, a real public high school like that, that kid would have gotten some. Like, imagine it's 7, 8 a.m. You're just trying to go to class, and a crowd starts forming around just because this one dude wants to start tap dancing, clickety-clacking down the hallway at 7 a.m. I don't know about you, but that's too much noise too early in the morning. I wouldn't personally do it because I'm not like that, but I am sure as hell that someone would. There would not be a crowd just sitting there like, clickety-clack your way to class. Don't do this in the hallway, please. And from here on out, the rest of this is sort of nitpicking. One thing that I kind of noticed, the way that they tackle race in the show is just very interesting, to say the least. I get like they're trying to show like the whole broken family, like biracial struggle when it comes to Ginny. It was just the fact that throughout the show, not saying that she needed black friends, but it's just like she only really went and spoke to other black people when she needed character development. The black people in the show that were not Ginny were used strictly for Ginny's character development. Like, Bracia was literally just there to tell her, it's okay to be black. Like, I get you. Check yourself, but I get you. Like, Bracia specifically was literally there at the beginning just to invite Ginny to leadership, to show that, like, I see you used to me, I'm trying to get you connected to the community, and her rejecting that, which was meant to, like, signify, like, oh no, I'm not right now. I'm not really trying to, like, be with that right now. I got my cute little white friends over here that want me to dress like Britney Spears and touch my hair. And then what seems like randomly in the show, Ginny just invites Bracia over to a party, and then kind of just like ditches her when Bracia's like, you chose to be like Britney Spears. When Zendaya's out and kicking, you decide to be Britney Spears with everybody else. And then finally, the last part where she interacts with a black person who's not her father. At the end, again, with Bracia, when Bracia kind of gives her like the reality check and sort of empowers her to embrace her like blackness more, I guess, and to show that like she's not alone. Which I mean, like, okay, that's like valid, but like just definitely very weird coincidences. And I get it to a certain extent just because of the situation that Ginny's in and who she's around and what she's gotten herself wrapped up in, that she maybe didn't initially like reach out or try and connect just because of her past experiences of like not being able to fit in with either group. I just find it weird that she'd think that about both sides and then only really try for a single side as opposed to trying both at this school, and only really gets to both sides at the very, very end. Now let's get into the mom, Georgia. I actually really liked her character because I really like characters that are able to like manage a situation and like pull different strings in different places and like be 50 different places at once mentally, because I like seeing like the strategy and mind games that go behind that. But I will say that it was really interesting to see like the Wellsbury version of the Bachelorette go on in the show, just because she has to choose between the mayor, her ex, and then Joe. And Joe honestly had my heart. Joe was the one that I was rooting for, just because he was so wholesome and just like so there for Georgia, but Georgia never really understood or saw it. And it was just so sad because when they played the flashbacks and when he realized the flashbacks, it was like, oh no, Joe, please. But alas, she went with Paul. I guess like that's okay. But more on like Georgia specifically, I just really like how they developed her character and showed who she used to be and how that made the character that she is in present day. Showing her to be very calculated and self-aware of how she fits into society and how people view her and how she can use that to her advantage, as well as exploring her vulnerabilities and how memories of her past can deeply affect her even still to this day. While I really like her character, one thing that I will say though, that kind of got me was she has a secret box, right, that's meant to be hidden from Ginny and Austin. Why, when Ginny found it the first time, why did she keep it there? And why was it still there throughout this series? If that was so secret, could you not have moved the hiding place? You had not lived there for that long, and you made that yourself. Couldn't you have just moved it to a different floorboard? Because that would have avoided a lot of conflicts and a lot of different things in the story if she was that on top of her stuff. But it's just like the fact that she left it there to be found thrice? Thrice? And another thing I noticed about Georgia is just like from the start of the season to the end of the season, when you think about it, Georgia had next to no growth. All the other characters really grew as people, but Georgia kind of started out the same way as she ended. She just has a new lover and a new community, which is something that I kind of don't really like. I would have liked to see more character growth from her. Like the most character development that I really noticed from her is that she opened up to Ginny, but even then it was kind of like half the truth. Like just enough for Ginny to trust her just a little bit more, but not enough to really like change as a character, you know, because that's still like benefiting her. And then really quickly, let's talk about the supporting cast, because the supporting cast was a very big part of the story. I just don't understand how a group of people can be so misunderstood by each other. I was waiting the whole season just for them to finally touch on Abby. Like, please get that girl some help. She has been struggling this whole season. Like every time she has a little outburst or something, they're just like, oh, that's just Abby, when she's clearly struggling from her family's divorce. Like, that girl is going through it. But no one ever notices because everyone's all wrapped up in their own thing, which I guess is high school. And right now I'm not even going to get into the high school relationships because those flipped around and made me so mad. Just because everyone made the stupidest decision and people were doing the stupidest stuff. Like Marcus and Jenny should not have happened. Like you should have not given up your life for that white boy, I'm just saying. Oh! God. Like you can say I love you all you want, but like doesn't mean that it's true. And then Tap Dance Boy is like great because like he's like the overall boyfriend, but he's still is Tap Dance Boy. And those, going back to the cringe, those morning videos that he'd send her of like, happy Friday, it's Friday, 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 happy Friday, Jenny, like, ugh, clown. But I guess like the final thing I want to really talk about before I end this video is the season finale. And the season finale really did give me what I needed. I feel like it was a good season finale just because it had enough suspense, enough stuff was going on, and there's still some mystery for season 2. I don't know if there's gonna be a season 2. You can let me know down in the comments. I don't know if it's been confirmed yet, but it has enough content for season 2. So I'm just gonna say, for those of you that haven't seen it, and for those of you that have seen it, I know you're gonna get what I'm about to say. I just can't believe how many explosions really happened that episode. Like it really gave Baby You're a Firework a whole different meaning. Like that was abominable, deranged, if you will. To think of that, and then what she says to the guy after. Criminal. Absolutely criminal. Like absolutely criminal, like her mind. Enough vagueness aside, those are like my initial thoughts, some of my more complicated thoughts, just my thoughts on Ginny and Georgia. Let me know down in the comments below what you thought of the show, if you've seen it or if you haven't. Thank you guys so much for watching. Again, if you're new and like my content, then hit that subscribe button and leave a like on this video because that helps out a lot. I really appreciate all the support on the recent videos and I will definitely keep them coming for y'all. In the meantime, in between uploads, you can catch me on Twitch 3 times a week and on my different social medias here at Imurgency. Other than that, guys, thank you so much for watching. I've been Imurgency and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.